December 10th, 1993 would be a day that PC gamers would never forget, as that was the day id Software's Doom clawed its way out of hell and onto DOS. With its frantic shooter action, addictive gameplay, gory and controversial visuals, and a plot as simple as, you're a Marine, aka Doom Guy, hell has been unleashed, go massacre the demons, it's no wonder that Doom has been labeled as one of the greatest games of all time. As the 90s went on, Doom and its sequel, Doom 2 Hell on Earth, would receive add-ons, upgrades, and console ports, with one of the most loved being the Nintendo 64 original, Doom, well, 64. But as time went on, games were getting a proper 3D overhaul, and fans of the Hellish series wondered when they'd fire up their big guns again. After many years of development, id finally released the next installment, Doom 3, for PC on August 3, 2004. However, Big Green owners didn't have too long to wait to blast demons, as the following year, the Xbox port of Doom 3 hit store shelves. Since I didn't have a strong enough PC at the time, the Big Green version was the way to go to play Doom 3, and I remember having a good time with it, although it's been ages since I played it. But, thanks to our good friend and patron Stefan, who I'm guessing requested this because a certain sequel is about to drop in this franchise, we'll be taking a look at the Big Green version of Doom 3 to see if it still holds strong today and is worth being in your Big Green collection. Now, it's stated that Doom 3's story is a reboot of the series, yet according to the mobile game Doom RPG, it's actually a prequel. Either way, you play as the unnamed Marine who has traveled to the UAC base on Mars to assist members of the UAC board to investigate incidents that have occurred on site. When the Marine finds the missing scientist he's ordered to find, the scientist is trying to send a warning to the UAC base on Earth before a massive shockwave occurs, causing the base faculty to transform into zombies and unleashing demons from hell. Literally. Now having to deal with a new demonic nightmare, the Marine, or let's just go ahead and call him Doom Guy, we know that's who it is, must survive this hellish threat and send it back to whence it came before he can go home to Earth. For being a reboot, the story's still intact, only now it has more meaty bits to it, making it feel like there's more going on than just kill demons. This is evident in not only the cutscenes you'll view during the game, but the audio and text logs you pick up and read on your PDA. Not only do some of these contain codes, you get to hear from the points of view of those that worked on the site before and during the invasion. Usually I'm not a fan of having the story told to me in files and letters, but it's not too bad here. As to be expected, being the third installment in a popular first-person shooter franchise, Doom 3 sticks to the tried-and-true formula. You progress through each section searching for keys and codes for doors and supply lockers conveniently stored on your PDA to progress your objective and blast tons, and I mean tons, of demonic monstrosities back to hell with Doom Guy's trusty arsenal such as a pistol, shotgun, machine and chain gun, plasma gun, grenades, rocket launcher, chainsaw, and the fantastic BFG 9000. Also in your inventory is a flashlight to help you see in the dark corridors you'll be traversing. Ah yes, something that needs to be mentioned is how the tone and look of Doom was changed quite a bit for Part 3. Usually I save this part near the end, but since it ties into the gameplay a little bit more, let's kind of jump into the presentation now. Doom 3 is really friggin' dark. I mean, I get it. I understand that they were going for the ooh, spooky demons, ooh vibe, and for the most part, they succeeded. But still, this game can be tough to see, even with the brightness turned up. Yes, you do have the flashlight, but in a topic that Doom fans have kind of been vocal about since the game came out on PC, the flashlight isn't on your armor, you have to hold it. Meaning you have to continuously switch between your flashlight and your gun. And it can sometimes get tedious, especially when you're walking down a dark corridor and 4 imps just show up and flambe your ass, switching to your gun and hoping you hit them in the dark, then back to the flashlight. On PC, modders were generous enough to make a patch that duct taped the light on you, alleviating this problem. Sadly, this didn't make it to the Big Green version in time. I know I'm making it out to be something massively annoying, but truthfully it's not too terrible for me anyway, just kind of a slight nag. If anything, the swapping adds to the tension of not knowing what's around the corner, even more so when anything can just pop out and try to kill you, not giving you much time to breathe. On top of that, just having the room go completely dark with pentagrams emerging to bring unholy terrors to end you, or watching the base begin to merge with hell is truly unsettling. The demons themselves have received a crazy facelift from their old sprite days, especially the imps, who can now leap halfway across the area to pounce you to death. It doesn't stop there though. Dead bodies scattered all over, whispering voices, a voice cast that's actually good, a foreboding ambient soundtrack. Doom 3 is truly a scary game, yet there's something that feels off about it, at least to me. At the end of the day, Doom 3 still plays like a Doom game, but at a slower pace due to this new direction. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy this game a lot, but when I think of Doom, I think of this, a more faster-paced game, running through corridors, blasting demons to a rocking soundtrack. And with Doom 3, I don't really feel those Doom vibes as much. Now, I know this might get the comments section stirring, and I'm definitely open to friendly conversations about this, but to me, Doom 3 is one of the best horror games I've ever played, but I don't know if it's the best Doom game I've ever played. Well, at least the game controls wonderfully with the ability to customize the D-pad with whatever weapons you want, and a button devoted to the flashlight for easy swapping. Now, of course, Doom wouldn't be Doom without multiplayer, and Doom 3 has it. To a point. Through either live via X-Link or System Link itself, you can play competitive modes of regular and team deathmatch, last man standing, or 1v1 tournaments. You can also play the campaign co-op with a friend, which, as far as I know, is the only version of Doom 3 that has this mode. Sadly, I wasn't able to capture any of this, but I can tell you that I did play the co-op back when it came out, and it is pretty good. If you sprung for the collector's edition of this game, like everyone pretty much did, there were not only bonuses like interviews, art galleries, and a retrospective from Channel G4, but the full versions of Ultimate Doom and Doom 2 were available with 4-player co-op and deathmatch split-screen play, which was definitely worth the price of admission. Lastly, going back to the visuals, it must be said that for its time, Doom 3 on the big green is pretty damn impressive. Character and enemy models look great next to the already mentioned decrepit and dark UAC base. And then, of course, there's Hell. Granted, there can be a bit of slowdown when there's too much on screen, and because the game was a little big, parts from the stages had to be cut. But still, this is quite an impressive feat for Xbox. Now, I would go ahead and give my final thoughts on Doom 3 for Xbox, but before I do, I want to go ahead and talk about Resurrection of Evil, the expansion for Doom 3 that got a standalone release on the big green. Two years after the events of Doom 3, a UAC satellite that still monitors the base on Mars detects a beacon from an older site. A research and security team led by Dr. McNeil is sent to Mars to learn what the signal is, with you, as a Marine combat engineer, aka Doom Guy, being part of said team. Wait. Oh, he's not Doom Guy? Oh, okay, what can we call him? Okay, I guess we'll call him Disaster Gentleman. Once landed, the Marine and his team discover a strange artifact that wipes out everyone in the room, yet keeps him alive. McNeil tells the Marine that the artifact must be sent back to Hell in order for the demons to truly vanish, once and for all. And so he makes his journey through the hellish site to accomplish this goal. Being a standalone expansion, the story is alright enough, helping to give Doom 3 a more satisfying conclusion. But at the end of it all, it's really just a quick blurb just so you can get back to the good part of blasting demons back to hell. The gameplay is pretty much identical to Doom 3, with a few new things added. The aforementioned artifact gives you new powers as you defeat the 3 bosses you encounter in the game. First is Hell Time, which is essentially slow-mo. Then Berserk, or quad damage, is added with it, followed lastly by Invincibility. You have 3 charges before you have to refill the artifact, which is done by getting the artifact near a glowing corpse to absorb its soul. Having these powers is pretty nice, and do come in handy when locked in a room with a giant horde of demons. Next, the double-barreled shotgun returns, and as expected, it's much more powerful than the regular shotgun at the cost of a slower fire rate, and it taking 2 shells each shot. But it is so worth it. Definitely the best gun in the game. Also, a new approach to the flashlight was added to the big green version of Resurrection of Evil. Now, instead of having to switch between holding a flashlight and your weapon, the light is now attached to your pistol, giving you a little offense while you're using it. The only downside is now you have to switch between your pistol and a stronger gun, as you can't put the light on anything else, save for the sewer section where it's on your helmet. Still, it is a little better. Lastly, there's the Grabber, aka the devs swear that it was in their game before Half-Life 2's gravity gun. Very similar to the gravity gun, the Grabber can grab objects and enemy projectiles and throw them back, with the hold only lasting for a few seconds. It's a neat gun, but truthfully I didn't use it too much as I needed something more powerful and with a faster fire rate as the game went on. There's also an increased ammo count and some new enemies you'll encounter in this expansion. As for multiplayer, it's just the same from Doom 3 with a few new maps and modes, as well as the older Doom games, Ultimate Doom, Doom 2, and its master levels, again with split-screen co-op and competitive multiplayer. Again, unless you have some friends with big greens or 360s around to do System Link, or you use X-Link, Deathmatch mode is kind of a moot point. Overall, this isn't a bad expansion, especially as it's a bit short, taking a few hours to complete. That's if you can get by some of the tougher enemies with no problem. Although, I couldn't see myself going back to this one again for a long time unless I was playing this back-to-back with Doom 3, as it's a fitting bookend. Visually, ROE's levels and monsters looks just as good and hellish as Doom 3 does on Xbox. Yeah, still compared to PC it's not amazing, especially with the dipping frame rate. Still, the fact that they were able to get these two games looking as good as they did is a nice feat, even if the damn thing is still so dark. And just like Doom 3, the audio still has a great foreboding feeling with ambient sounds and low yet tense music. Voice acting, well, the little that's here, is okay. Nothing amazing. As I stated, Resurrection of Evil is a great add-on to Doom 3, expanding the story and fun gameplay, if not for a few more hours. If you want to pick this one up, it's decently priced along with Doom 3. Sadly, this is the other thing that might get me some mean looks on the comments. Today, the Xbox version of these, in my opinion anyway, really aren't worth playing, unless you're a diehard Doom fan or Xbox collector. Again, both of these games are fantastic to play through, but haven't held up that great over time, on Xbox. Plus, since not everyone uses X-Link, unless you have friends with their own systems and copies of the game and LAN cables, you're not playing multiplayer, so there are other better ways to play. In 2012, the wittily titled BFG Edition of Doom 3 was released for PC, Xbox 360, and PlayStation 3. This version included enhanced visuals and audio, the flashlight now attached to your armor, a new checkpoint save system, and the classic Doom games, Resurrection of Evil, and a new campaign called The Lost Mission was included. And just last year, this version was released on PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch, so you can Doom on the go. However, these don't have any multiplayer added as far as I know, so that's kind of a downer. I've also heard that these versions had mixed reviews when released, but if you want easier access to the Doom 3 experience, you're probably better off with the BFG Edition. Well, I don't think I need to go on about the future of Doom, as we all well know how that turned out with the awesome 2016 version, as well as Doom Eternal just around the corner. But it's still cool to know that at the time, a game that was so visually impressive was able to be emulated onto the Xbox almost near perfectly. it just goes to show you how cool the Big Green was. Well, with that, this is the Dali Popka, and as always, stay green, my friends. I'll see you next time. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode and want more of me and the Big Green, then click that subscribe button and the bell to get notified when new content arrives. I want to say a special thank you to my patrons for helping not just the channel grow, but me as a creator. You have my forever thanks. If you're interested in the channel and would like to help it grow further, consider becoming a patron today. For the cost of a soda or an item on the dollar menu, you can help myself and the channel provide the best source of Big Green programming and more. Once again, all the thanks and love. Okay. What to talk about next? What game should I even cover? I mean, I want to take a break from shooters. I need something different. But what? Just gotta keep searching. What the hell? What the hell is this tote doing here? And why is the number 100 on it? Now let's see. My God. It's time.